Welcome back to Wudao. This week in the tutorial weekly episode, we're going to be going over a track called 左手指月, which is the left hand pointing to the moon. This is a really awesome piece that I'm going to link to in the description for some other tracks, some other covers of this song, because it's really fun. It's got a really catchy rhythm. On the Guqin, there's a really good version of it that I listen to quite a lot. And the rhythm is just this short little part. Okay, so this is just one part of the whole track. But it's the easiest part to play on flute. Otherwise, it starts getting into really high octaves and out of the range of this particular flute. But what we are going to be getting into is explaining some of those high notes that you can play with the flute, as well as the different key changes. So the first one we're going to do for key changes is going to be the easiest one. Today I'm going to play the F Key Flute. And in the previous videos, we've been kind of switching around, going between different flutes just to get different sounds, but always sticking to the same finger notation. This is the first time I'm going to use the F Key Flute with a purpose. Most of the time when you're going to play an F key song, they're going to just change the notation to where the tonies so the lowest note becomes 5. That's just so you don't have to change any of the finger patterns. You're actually just going to maintain the same thing, and you're really just dropping the tuning. So you're just dropping everything down one full step from G to F, and that's going to give you a deeper tone, and it's normally used in a lot of the slower songs. So with this one being a 78 beats per minute, I might be playing a little bit fast in the intro, but with this slowing down the tempo, a lot of times we're going to start playing an F key flute, or if you're playing it with another instrument like a Guqin, a lot of times we'll play an F key flute, but we'll drop the notation the same as the G key flute, as opposed to actually dropping this notation to where it should be, because this is a step lower than the G flute. With me? So we're going to keep the same notation. So the new thing that we're going to add in for the notation is going to be some of the high notes, okay? And in this song, we've got quite a few. You can see the scale, it just slowly builds and it kind of crescendos to the last note. There it will actually repeat, so you can repeat the same phrase over and over to get like a nice rhythm. But if you're playing the full track, it's going to actually repeat everything on one octave higher, which very quickly you're going to run out of space to play because the flute doesn't have that much range. If you're on a piano or a stringed instrument or something like that, okay, you can keep going. So hence the other covers. But when we get to these, okay, everything is going to be the same with the higher octave. You're just going to get tighter breath, closer down. We talked about this a little bit with like blowing closer straight down to the side of the palm in previous tutorials. I'll link to those so you can get a better explanation there if it needs to be more thorough. But the only thing that's going to change is when we get to Fa, when we get to the 4, we're actually going to change the finger notation. So normally we would have Do, Re, Mi, and then Fa, all 3 with the thumb taken off on the back. When we get to the higher notes, basically all the breathing gets tighter, all the finger placements gets closer together. So instead of doing that, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, Do, Re, Mi the same. Then we get to Fa, instead of doing 3, we're just going to do the top 2. Instead of having, you're going to have the high version. Because the breathing just gets tighter, everything gets a little bit shorter, so we kind of pack it up into just the left hand notation. If you follow that with 5, Sol on the high octave, you're actually just going to go back to that Fa. So you're going to have what would be this posture. Becomes very straightforward. Okay, so that one we're not going to use, but those are going to be your most common high octave changes. Is going to be just 1 through 5 on the high octave. I'm going to get to another track. I'm still working on it myself because now we're kind of catching up to some of the stuff I've been training with the last 3 notes. There is a La, a Shi, and a Do higher than that, but the finger pattern gets very complicated and you're almost never going to go that high. So for right now, stick to these. Next couple of tutorials, I'm going to show you how to change the key completely. To where we're getting into some flat B, we're getting into some D and some C key notation. So that'll start changing everything about the finger pattern and about how we play the flute, what flute we're playing. We'll get into that before we get into those other high notes. So take this song, it's a short little rhythm. Notation again will be in the description. You can download that and follow along. And come back next week. Again, we're going to keep going through some different notation. So now it's going to be taking bigger jumps This one you should be able to play. Next week we're going to get into something that might take you a little bit more time. But we got a few more videos coming out, so stick with us. If you haven't subscribed, click the bell and you'll get notifications. And we'll see you next week. Okay, enjoy.